right, now we get to the villains, which is kind of the part I really want to get to. So first we have Old Man Goatbeard here.
Okay, he kind of sucked for a little bit, I think.
I think in Birth by Sleep he served a good purpose of just being an evil character and being, because not every villain needs to be like so complicated and layered. He served his purpose well. He was deceitful. He was hungry for power and knowledge. He was willing to fuck everyone to get what he wants. I think he served his purpose well. If it was just Birth by Sleep, I would put him in C tier. But then we just get more of him. Like, because he became the main villain. And even his first appearance in the 2 Secret movie, we was like, who the fuck is this old dude? Old people are scary in, like, anime things.
Yeah. And he's bald.
Bald, bald,
Yeah, we've never seen a bald character in Kingdom Hearts before.
I guess if you don't count Mickey Mouse.
No, because I think that black stuff is his hair, maybe. I don't know. And then, like, all the stuff about him, he just got more and more layered, more and more complicated, to a point we're still learning about him. And he's dead. Like, he's dead. He went to heaven with his boyfriend, Ericus.
Yeah, that might have been my, like, least favorite part of him, was just the fact that he, like, you finally beat him, and he's like, yeah, maybe I was wrong. And it was like, that felt a little weird.
Okay, so another thing I told myself before 3, like, they can't make Xehanort a good guy at the end of 3. I would be so mad. And, like, when I got to the end of it, I'm like, this is kind of iffy. But then, once we learned more about him and what his real goal was, I kind of got it.
I think when you first get to that, it's like the most weird, because it's like, he wanted to, like, destroy the world. Why is he just, like, cool with this now? But I do think when as we learn more about his, like, young self, which it seems like maybe it's hinted at that he was maybe possessed or something like that, or like corrupted in some way.
At least corrupted. I don't think he was ever possessed.
Yeah, no, maybe just corrupted. But I think if that's the case, then maybe it's like, oh, maybe he was just returning to like his like normal self.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, I don't know. I think it's like definitely weird at first. To just for like the main villain of this whole thing to just be like, oh, maybe I was a little harsh on you guys.
Okay, well, in Birth by Sleep, we just saw his motivation was, I just want to see a Keyblade War happen. We thought he was like just chaotic evil. We're like, I want to see destruction just happen. Yeah. And then it gets more and more complicated to where he does want to see it happen, but because he wants darkness to reign over everything. He's just Seeker of Darkness again. But then he's like, no, I want Kingdom Hearts. I want light because I want to cleanse this fucking world of everything and start over. Because everything is so fucked up and evil that everything just needs to be wiped out and cleansed, which is like a pretty. To me, it's good because it shows like he's not like darkness. He's just like there's too much darkness and there's too much light. There's no balance, so just wipe everything out and do it again. He's darkness because he knew he had to be that. He kind of chose to be it, but he knew like if I want this to happen, I need to be darkness.
And the goat Keyblade's pretof badass.
Exactly.
Even though I guess it's sort of not his, but.
And he gets 2 Keyblade armors. I kind of want to put him in A. Like, maybe because we're still learning more about him, we can put him in B.
I think B's fair.
Because for a villain, I think personally he's pretty good. Retroactively.
He definitely set the bar pretty high for like he's definitely a good enough villain that like, whatever the next like whole saga becomes, it's definitely going to be like, okay, are they as good as him? Yeah. Like, it's not going to be like, okay, when's this next guy coming? Because the last guy was awful. Like, no, he was pretty good for.
Because he's the perfect indicator for the evolving writing quality of Kingdom Hearts. To where when we first see him, he's just very simple, very just plain, and he gets more and more complicated and layered as it goes. I think as like Nomura learns how to write a little bit more complicated, he gets more complicated until he becomes like an actual fleshed out character.
Yeah, I think that was one of the weird things too about his character was just that like he doesn't show up until like halfway through the franchise.
But he steals the show.
Yeah, but he's like the main villain.
Yeah,
but it's like wait, where did this guy come out of? But
he was
then it
always
makes sense
there.
once you like learn. Yeah,
time travel. So then we have young Xehanort. I'm only keeping it to like Dream Not Distance in 3 because when he's not in the past, he's a different character to what young Xehanort is. Because he's not the Xehanort from Dark Road. He is exposition too. Like, he's exposition that can kick your ass.
Yeah, he's bad guy's exposition.
Worst fight in all Kingdom Hearts is Mysterious Figure, which was him.
Oh, in
Birth by Sleep.
Yeah,
worst boss fight ever. He looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
Do we gotta put him in F? I can't think of anything. He was a cool boss fight. Okay, he made up for it in Dream Not Distance, where he's a cool boss fight.
His data fight in 3 was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was one of the easier ones, but yeah. I don't know why he has time travel powers, even though that's not really his. They explained what time travel was. I don't know why his thing is just time travel.
Yeah, it is weird.
I kind of would be nice to put him in D.
Yeah, we can put him in D for darkness.
Yeah, D for darkness. Which,
well, yeah, because he's like the Bowser Jr. of like the group.
Oh my fucking god, he is.
Because
I didn't even think about that.
Because he's not like the main bad guy, but he like explains what the main bad guy is doing more than the main bad guy does.
True, because he is the main. Oh, technically he is a main bad guy.
Well, yeah, he is, but he's not the he's the 13th Darkness or like the 12th or whatever in the data fights.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Like, he's one of the first couple ones there, but
like on the roster, I assumed he was number 2 in terms of like their roster, just because like you want a younger version of yourself to be second in command, right? Or maybe Zigbar was. I don't fucking know.
I think Xemnas was 2 on the thing. I don't know. I don't know how much that correlates.
Yeah.
But...
Moving on to the first villain we ever saw, who like pretty much just cucked Maleficent in 1 in terms of being a villain.
Yeah. He kind of did in that game what Master Xehanort did in the series.
He just cucked who the main villain was?
Well, yeah, because he was like the whole like first like almost like 3/4 of that game. It's like, oh, we gotta get Riku, we gotta beat Riku and Maleficent, I guess. And then you get to like the end of like Hollow Bastion, and it's like, oh, psych, this guy's actually gonna appear, and now you have to fight him.
Haha. And he's gotta stand.
Yeah. But I do think it was definitely interesting playing through that game, and when everyone was like, especially like some of the like Traverse Town characters being like, oh, there's this guy Ansem, he's like a super mysterious like guy that studied darkness, and then he pulls up at the end, and then you're like, oh, he's evil, and then it turns out that was a different guy. But
yeah, he cucked Ansem too. He cucked a lot of people. Ansem,
he really got everyone.
Ansem's a Chad, and it's like he's in like every Kingdom Hearts game, like at least an appearance, because we talked about this in 2 and 358. You see Riku as Ansem, so his appearance is in literally every single game.
Yeah, I do think that's very.
He's a mainstay.
Yeah, it is interesting how he like comes back, because I feel like sometimes in series like the main villain of the first like entry comes back a bunch, and sometimes that's not always handled well. But I do think he like comes back pretty well, because like. In the first game, he's the main villain, but he also was like possessed Riku, which then leads to their whole weird relationship, which is like built upon which is like how he comes back in Chain of Memories, and then 2, and then 358 days, sort of through that, and then he finally comes in at the end, but that's like him being brought back to like serve a greater purpose.
Yeah, his presence is always felt, and he's like always there, and he. Have you played any Final Fantasy games?
Not really.
He is like kind of the typical Final Fantasy villain, because I played 7, and what Ansem does in Kingdom Hearts 1, Sephiroth does in FF7, he cucks who you think the main villain is. Mm-hmm. And then he does that, and then he becomes a big Godzilla thing you need to fight at the end.
Yeah.
So he's a real reminder of the series' roots, a connection between Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. Disney and Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, which we have much more Disney now than Final Fantasy at this point. I want to put him in B. Like,
yeah, I think that's pretty good.
He's got respect on his name for being such a mainstay, and like no one ever gets tired of him. Like you never hear, oh, Ansem's here again. You always think, oh, why is Ansem here again?
He fits into his place really well. Like like he's the main villain of the first one, but then in the next couple ones, he's just like sort of this like demon sort of possessing Riku or like harassing Riku.
Yeah.
And then when he shows up again in 3 as part of like the real organization, you know, he just kind of is just like, he's like a good like number 3 or whatever. Like,
yeah.
He's like, he you know, he led the charge before, so he's kind of up there in the rankings because of that. But, you know, he doesn't like overshadow the, you know, the boss in any way. But he's still foreboding, I guess.
Yeah. So, next in the North Court, last in the North Court, is Xemnas, who is my personal favorite Kingdom Hearts villain.
Yeah, he's really good.
Of course, like, he's in 2, which, like, he's one of the reasons 2 is so good. At least his motivation in 2, that's when Kingdom Hearts first got deeper the more he thought about it. He's not motivated by, like, okay, he's kind of motivated by power, but it's more that he just wants to feel again. Yeah. And, of course, his like instance as Xehanort and Ansem, he's got a lust for power, so he's going about his motivation in the most power-hungry way, which I want to be human again, so I'm just going to kill everyone I can and make my own Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, he's pretty, like, badass, too. Like,
he is.
He's very, like, menacing, but then he also has, like, the lightsabers, and he can fly around and, like, do all kinds of crazy stuff, and he's got the zebra suit. Dude is ready to go. He
has a presence that, like, he's more, to me, he has more of a presence than Ansem. Because Ansem is always like darkness, darkness, darkness. Xemnas gives like a soliloquy of like how he wants to feel and the state of the world and everything, and his voice is like top tier.
If light and darkness are eternal, then surely we nothings must be the same. Eternal.
Yeah, he's really good.
Fits perfectly. Out of all the villains, at first, like, of course, they kind of fuck up his motivation later with like, oh no, Kingdom Hearts was like, I was just gonna make a bunch of Xehanorts with it, which is kind of fucks it up a little bit. It's kind of why I can't put him in S, because it kind of retconned him to be lesser. And like his final speech when you kill him in 3 was like, that was one of my main sticking points in 3, where it's like I do feel stuff now. All I feel is sadness and loneliness, because like my comrades are gone, which is I guess why I felt the whole time. And then Sora's like, well, that's what having a heart is. It's like, really? Fuck. That's you guys are awesome for being able to have feelings. He stayed to me more. He stayed deep to the end, because he never went full. Just like he never went full. And somewhere to kind of flanderize them to a point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I liked him a lot as a villain, and I think he does well with his appearances when he reappears.
So A.
A is good.
A. Next is Vanitas.
Okay, I want to open Vanitas by reminding everyone that he got his ass whooped by James P. Sullivan of Monsters Incorporated.
One of the most OP characters in all of Disney.
Yes, like he got handled.
Bad.
I mean, literally, but...
Like, the funny thing is, he could have teleported back, but it's just funnier to think that he was just stuck somewhere until one of the other Norts got him. Like, he had to wait for Ansem to come get him.
Yeah, he had, like, no idea where he was at.
He was just he was with the Yeti in the snow Alps.
Yeah.
Ate a snow cone, just pressed it to his helmet.
He really got his ass handed to him there.
But... Yes, he did. Vanitas, again, he's again one of those characters that has more to him right now, because apparently he's just a whole nother side of Ventus that we didn't know about. Like at first we were just like, oh, he's just a dark side of Ventus, and that's of course he's evil because he's just straight darkness. But now we think, oh no, he has his own personality, and like he's his own person pretty much. Now there's this like not canon novel starring Vanitas, where it kind of explains his deal in Birth by Sleep, to where he can feel everything Ventus feels at the same time, but he's pretty much a nobody, because when Ventus hung out with Terra and Aqua, Vanitas felt that sense of friendship, but he was alone, so it tortured him. And like every time an Unversed was destroyed, he felt that pain, and he would train against Unversed. So every time he killed an Unversed, he would hurt himself. So he's edgy McEdgerson, which...
He definitely is.
So it's non-canon, but I still want to add that to the equation, to where it could still be canon because it's not disprovable.
He's definitely like he definitely has a cool like an interesting attitude to him, especially like at the beginning of Birth by Sleep before you really know anything about him, because he kind of just teases the hell out of like Terra and is like, "What you gonna do about it? You gonna?" Or I guess he does that to Ventus too.
Yeah.
After Terra,
and Aqua, he does it to everybody.
He does that to everybody, but especially in the opening, he kind of like baits Terra into like running away.
That was Ventus.
Oh, I guess that was Ventus.
Yeah.
Well, because then he goes. I don't know. Like,
I don't think he talks to Terra.
Doesn't
Yeah, he doesn't.
Whoever forces Terra to leave, and then Vanitas pops up at Ventus's like room and is like, "What are you gonna do? Cry about it?"
Yeah, Ericus is like, Xehanort's gone, go find him. And then Vanitas is like, "Oh, Terra's leaving. He's like your daddy. He's going for cigarettes, and he's never going to come back.
He's never coming back."
And then he just teases Aqua throughout the whole thing for pretty much no reason, just because he's a dick.
And then whenever you like pull up to the Keyblade graveyard is Ventus, and then he just bullies him.
Yeah, but he's doing it on purpose. Like, fight me, bro. Come on, let's do it. Let's combine and make the Keyblade.
Yeah, he's pretty interesting, and he has a lot of lore connections. The fact that like he wears like almost the exact same suit that like Riku wears in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Looks like Sora.
Looks like Sora.
Do you know why that is?
I've probably read it a million times.
It's like, so Ventus went inside Sora. Ventus's heart went inside Sora, and Vanitas' heart and Ventus' heart are connected, but Ventus didn't have a form. And Vanitas, the first time he appeared, he didn't have a face. He looks like a heartless pretty much. But over time, the influence of Sora went into him. That's why he looks like Sora. It's pretty much the reason why Roxas looks like Ventus. Like influence.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's too many connections there, but I get it. Yeah.
I think as an antagonist, he's pretty much the star screen to Xehanort's Megatron.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty good for that.
Yeah, he's always to the side. He doesn't cause trouble for the main person. Well, he does. He just kind of does whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He's on a leash, and he serves his purpose. And I think we are going to see more of him later on.
I think so too.
And of course, he has this thing where he's not even that evil. He's just like, this is my purpose. And I choose for this to be my purpose. Yeah. So he's just more nihilistic than anything. So I say B.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
B for Boy of Darkness.
Yeah, and he's got one of those eyes in his Keyblade too.
Exactly. A lot of people do.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, I think that started out as an aesthetic thing, but I think now they're going to retcon it to be a thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why Mom has like 5 eyes.
Yeah, because it's in the one Keyblade, but then it's like, how do I guess we're going to get an explanation for all the different keychains and how those work.
Yeah, because it's in Xehanort's, it's in Riku's Soul Saber, which wasn't even a Keyblade.
Yeah.
It was in Terra's, I'm not sure that's canon, Terra's evil Keyblade, which I'm not sure is canon. And it's in Vanitas' Keyblade.
Yeah.
So unless Master Masters has 4 eyes, then we'll see.
Yeah, who's to say?
So next is Maleficent, who got cocked for the series. She got cocked.
Yeah.
And like she served her purpose well. It's like she was the very typical villain, because like in the Disney lore, she's like one of the most evil characters.
I think she was a very good choice for that, to like lead the council or whatever. Like that was a really cool moment. That was a really cool choice to have her do that.
That was one of the reasons you bought Kingdom Hearts, because all these, you get beat up all these Disney villains who are like have a cabal of like evil.
Yeah, it was cool to see their like Illuminati and to see her kind of like run that.
Yeah.
I think also when you get to 2, where she's like teamed up with Pete, they have a very interesting dynamic where it almost parallels the Xehanort Vanitas like dynamic, because with Xehanort and Vanitas, it's like Xehanort's this mastermind and Vanitas is pretty powerful too, and he just kind of does his own thing, and he'll like taunt the protagonist.
That's true.
And in the same way, Maleficent is super powerful and will destroy the protagonist, but then also Pete is like a jobber and and will just get dusted. But we'll also talk a lot of smack.
And in 2, they basically became Team Rocket. And like, if you watch a Pokemon movie, Team Rocket's always to decide, causing a little bit of mischief, but they're not the real threat.
Yeah.
Which is what Maleficent and Pete was in 2. Because in 2, the first like few worlds, they're causing the issues. But it's just Pete and Maleficent.
But it's only Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes Maleficent.
And then 3, she does nothing.
No, in 2, she saves Sora. Joel
Right.
tries. Well, no, she does. She saves Sora.
Oh yeah, she does.
And then they fight off a bunch of nobodies in the world never was to get them to the top.
Yes.
And like that's again one of my favorite parts of Kingdom Hearts. Pete's like, I don't want to fucking do this. I'm leaving. And Mickey's like, well, time to weigh anchor, Captain Peak. And he's like, what? You think I'm gonna run away? And then he goes fight. He goes fights a bunch of nobodies. And he goes fight sorcerers, which are really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Pete beats up sorcerers. So I think they're gonna have more a role in continuing Kingdom Hearts games.
Definitely.
Yeah, they are like. Of course, in 3 they did nothing. I admit that.
Yeah.
That kind of disappointed me a little bit. But in the ending with the foretellers, you see them see that the box is there, and then they leave.
Yeah, I think that's going to be super interesting because, especially as we get more information from Union Cross, that's focused a lot on Maleficent and her like traveling from the data worlds and into the real world, and how she's going to like time travel to get back. But it's like, if she existed in that sort of same realm as the Union Cross stuff, like, what are the odds that she, like, I guess that's probably how she knew about the box.
Yeah.
But it's like, why is she after the box? What, like, I think she's going to come in contact with it again.
Exactly.
And that'd be interesting.
Yeah, her role is definitely not over, which I'm happy about, because I would hate to see her just leave, because she's a force to reckon with. So, grading her, like, we pretty much just gushed about her for a while. I would put her in B.
Yeah, I would put her in B.
Yeah. Like, just her showing in 3 is not impressive, but we think she has more to do. And when she was present, she was a good part.
Yeah, and she's really good in 1 because she, like, leads that whole, like, Illuminati of villains. And then when you finally get to her, it's like everything's crumbled around her because all of the other villains have been defeated at that point.
Yeah.
And then she kind of, like, falls apart. It's, like, really interesting.
And then you fight her twice. Okay, next is Petey Boy.
Pete's real bad.
I like Pete.
No, he's fun, but he's like, he sucks at what he does.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the purpose.
It's
not like Ansem where we're told how important he is, but he does nothing. Like Pete's a threat. Like Pete almost destroyed a time and space continuum in Timeless River. He has a character. He's like very funny. He's not a bad guy. He's just in with the bad crowd because the people he was with rejected him. See, he cheats at a game and gets sent to not the realm of darkness, but he gets sent to an infinite void for a timeout. That's pretty shitty. Queen Minnie just banished him for cheating at a game.
Yeah.
So of course he's gonna join Maleficent, who wants to destroy that. And again, I don't think Pete even wants to destroy the world. I think he's in it for the lols.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about his role in Birth by Sleep, which was different for every character you play as.
Yeah.
Because every time you pull up to Disney Town, he's like a different like cosplay character. I don't know. He kind of like, yeah, he is pretty funny at moments. He's like, he kind of sucks at what he does, but he's like designed to do that.
You love him in 2. It's not like he's annoying. Like when you like, he always has a purpose. And he's not overbearing. He serves his role really well, and he gets again an arc where it's like he helps fight with his enemy along with Maleficent. I say C.
Yeah, I think C's appropriate.
Yeah. Okay, next is Repliku, as I call him. No one else does for some reason, even though it's a perfect name for him.
Oh, Repliku.
No one every time I look it up, people just call him Replica Riku. It's like it's Repliku. Same with Terranort.
Yeah, no, that's definitely okay. Well, I think he's pretty good. I think he's a pretty good like redemption.
Literally Pinocchio.
Yeah, he kind of does like almost like the Xemnas thing in a smaller fashion in like Chain of Memories, because he has this really interesting arc, even though we don't kind of know it at first, where he's like fighting Sora and is like, first he's just kind of like messing with him in the way that Riku does at the like very, very beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1, where he's just fighting him just to like play with him. Yeah. And then it becomes this like super personal, like, no, I love Namine more than you do.
Yeah. Like his whole world falls apart in Chain of Memories because one, the girl he thought he was best friends with and in love with, he doesn't really know. And two, he's not even who he thinks he is. He's a fake.
Exactly. And there's like that really interesting moment where he has like a breakdown because of it. Yeah. And like leaves. But then he pulls up to fight Marluxia and he's like, he's like, I don't even know what I am, so I'm just gonna help you fight this guy. And then he just leaves at the end, and it's like, I'm just gonna go do my own thing now.
But he also has a body count because he killed Zexion. He like choked him out.
Oh yes.
Which is one of the darker moments in Kingdom Hearts, where you just see his dangling body just stop moving. It's a good thing they brought him back, but still, that was pretty dark.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
And then like his Riku portion, he was a big character in, because he just kept trying to square up with Riku, like, no, I'm the real one, fight me, bro. And of course, we all thought he was dead because we didn't know. We thought people could die in Kingdom Hearts, even fake people. And he brought in the concept of replicas, which wasn't a thing for a little bit, but then become a big part of Kingdom Hearts 3. And I love the fake out in Kingdom Hearts 3, where we're supposed to think that he is early Riku, possessed by Ansem. Were you fooled by that?
And like San from Tokyo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, it was definitely like hard to figure out what form of Riku that was, I guess.
I knew, because he was one of my top picks for who I thought would be an organization before we knew who really was in it, Repliku. But he's just evil Repliku. Again, one of the characters who is dead officially because he sacrifices himself for Naminé, a girl who doesn't even like really know him, and he doesn't know, but he loves. He's like, no, take that body and give it to Naminé. I don't want it. I'm gonna die, and like take other Repliku with me. Basically, a murder suicide. So I don't think he's too great, but he definitely has something to him.
Yeah, I would put him in C.
Yeah, I agree. C